Hi guys, it's Erin. Today is a super exciting day. Today we got our Ranunculus Corms in. So we talked recently in a video about how September is really the time that everything starts shifting, at least for our zone. We start shifting into fall and getting all the chores done that we need to ensure a beautiful spring. So I thought that we would do an unboxing video. I'll go through all the different varieties that I got, show you what the corms look like, and then we'll start the process of pre-sprouting. I'll walk you through all of that as we do it. So exciting. I'm really stoked about this year and the different varieties that I chose and the amounts of them. I'm over the moon. This coming spring is going to be gorgeous. Okay, so let's get this box open and start going through the varieties. Okay. Oh my goodness, look at all these. Goodness, look at them go. Yeah, this is great. So this year I have 1,500 corms. Last year I grew roughly the same amount, but this year the varieties that I got and the size of the corms that I got are much bigger and better flowers, bigger, fuller flowers with reliably longer stems that I hope will be much better cut flowers come the spring. Okay, let me organize these a little bit. Okay, let me put my coffee away. Okay, let's start with the biggest batch. The corms in here are almondine pastel mix. So I get all of my corms from Ball Color Link, and these ones all come from Edney Flowers. These guys are notoriously one of the absolute best growers for these corms, and I'm so looking forward to it. So I got 500 of the pastel mix. I'll put pictures up as we go through these, but this pastel mix was my absolute favorite last year. It has creams and yellow and pink and kind of peachy colors. It's a whole range of soft pastel colors. So I got 500 of these, and these corms are huge. Can you see that? How big that one is? They're gigantic and they're super healthy. Here, let me come over. These corms are huge and super healthy, and they're just the best looking. These are 5'6", which is the centimeters around, and they're so good. I'm really looking forward to this because some of the problem that I had last year was the corms that I got they were good, don't get me wrong, but it's a different variety, tecolote, and the corms were less expensive, which you get what you pay for. A lot of them rotted, they were just low quality compared to these. So this one, I'm going to sow today 300. So I should back up a little bit. So last year, I grew them in 2 successions. I started one batch in the fall and babied them all winter long and kept them alive, and they had really beautiful, robust plants by the time spring came around. and they started blooming, and I got so many flowers off of these that I planted in the fall. And then I started a batch in the late winter, early spring, as early as I could to get them in the ground. I think it was February. I'll have to look back, but I started another succession of them so that I would have flowers later in the season. These started blooming early and they went for a very long time, and having done the succession, I ended up with 3 extra weeks of blooming at the end of the spring growing season. The spring sown or the spring planted ranunculus will not grow as big, and they won't produce for as long as the fall planted corms, but they still do a really good job, and it's worth it for me to extend that season for 3 more weeks. I'll get a good 6 to 8 weeks of flowers out of the fall sown ones, and then the spring sown I'll get probably 4 to 5 weeks, and starting later these will push later. Also, I have the almondine series for most of these, which are supposed to be more heat tolerant. That's one of the biggest problems with ranunculus in the spring, is they don't like the heat. They like to grow in the cool. They like to bloom when it's cool, and it starts getting above 70 degrees and they start to peter out. They're done. It triggers them to go dormant and to not come back until the next fall, and then they grow again. Their cycle is over the winter rather than throughout the summer. So like I said, I'm going to pre-sprout 300 of these today, and I'll save away 200 of them so that I can sow them again later in late winter, early spring. Okay, that's pretty exciting. Ranunculus, almondine, pastel mix. These are my favorites out of everything that we grew last year. I only grew a couple hundred of these. This time I went much bigger and got 500 of them. Okay, that's the first one. The next batch is the Ranunculus almondine salmon. So this is another beautiful mix. It's, as the name would suggest, salmon is kind of oranges and peaches and those kind of colors. These corms are slightly smaller, a little less robust, but they still do good. The pastel corms are thicker and heavier and will likely produce bigger plants. That's why you grow them from a bigger corm, but this was all that was available at the time that I was ordering. So these guys, this salmon color, it's a really pretty mix. They'll have some yellows, like I said, some peaches, some oranges, occasional pinks, and these I like to grow more of heading into the later part of spring when those bright colors are starting to emerge, heading towards summer. They're so good, and they mix, all of these will mix really well together, and that's the whole point of how I do this, how I decide what I'm going to order. So the pastel and these oranges will go together really well when they're blooming at the same time. So this one I will pre-sprout 100 now and 100 a little later so that I can get that mix. So almondine salmon. Next one is one I have not grown before. There's a couple of these that I haven't grown before. The almondine, it's called Purple Jean. Like I said, I'll put a picture up. It's I've grown purples in the past. This one is a 3-4 corm. It's even smaller than the last, though I don't know. The sizes are not terribly different. So this one is the Purple Jean, the 3-4 size. This is the 5-6 size, and this one is the 4-5 size. You can see this one is definitely the biggest. This one's next and the next. So like I said, they're not a huge difference, but they're definitely different. Okay, so this Purple Jean color, I've grown dark purple ranunculus a couple of years in a row now, and I'm not impressed. For our climate, with the rain that we get in the spring, they tend to bleed color, and I can never get them quite to grow really robustly. And yeah, they just, I don't know. I haven't had a lot of good luck. I like purple, and I want purple in my arrangements in the spring, but the purple that I've grown in the past with the Almandine Black and Tecolote purple, those are both dark purples, and they didn't go well. I didn't like them. So I'm trying this new one. It's the Almandine Purple Jean, and it's kind of this color, but it's got more of a kind of a blue, brushed blue sort of tint to the color. I'll put pictures up. It's really, I'm intrigued by this one. Excuse me. It's definitely different from the purples that I've grown before, and it's a pastel-y sort of color, so it should go with everything else that I've got going on. So I have 200 of these. I will, we'll see. I might do 100 now and 100 later. My goal is to do, because I have 1,500, my goal is to do about 1,000 now and 500 for later, so that I have that extension. I'll do the math. 2, 3. I can't do 100 of each. There's a couple that I'm just gonna pick for the spring and grow them all. But this one, I think the purple will do good blending into later in the season. Okay, next up, we'll finish off the Almandine. This one is an Almandine Rose. 4 to 5 size corms. They're, you know, the mid-size, but still good size. These are, it's a pink. I like pink in the spring. I like pink anyway. But this one is sort of a darker pink than some of the other pinks that I have, like in the pastel and in this one here. They're lighter pink, almost bubblegum pink. This one is a bit darker. Not a whole, it's not like dark pink, but it's darker. And these corms, man, these are beautiful. These are the 4-5 size, which are really, really healthy looking, and they will, they'll do good in that bridge between. So I think that I'll probably do 100 now and 100 later, because these are darker and they'll go, I think, better with the oranges later in the season. So these I'm really looking forward to. Like I said, another new one. I have 3 new varieties that I haven't grown before this year. So I have 200 of those, the rose. The next one is Ranunculus Almandine Cream. These ones, these next two, I'm gonna grow all of them. I'll pre-sprout all of them now because I think that they're perfect for the early spring. So this one is 4 to 5 also. The color, don't let the name fool you. It's not actually cream color. These are a really soft yellow flower. Man, these are really nice too. This is Edney. I'm telling you, these guys have the best corms. I've bought many from different places over the last several years, and these are definitely my favorite. So the Almandine Cream, they are a very soft yellow flower, big fat flowers on the top of really tall stems. This one you'll see pop up in that pastel mix, but I wanted to have just this all by itself because it's such a beautiful color. And it'll go really well, obviously, with the pastel. It'll go well with the purple. It'll go well with the pinks. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to grow all of these. Like I said, I'll pre-sprout all of these now. The yellow is such a great color. I was never really a yellow fan. Like, yellow is not the color that I gravitated towards. But that's the school bus yellow. That's the rudbeckias, the sunflower yellows. Those are great in the summertime. In the spring, I want soft colors. My customers want soft colors with a pop of brightness every now and again. But these fit that really soft buttercream yellow color that will go with everything in the spring. So 200 of the Ranunculus Almondine cream. And then the last one is half clone marshmallow. So I've been trying to find marshmallow colored Ranunculus for a couple of years now. I've tried so many different pinks and none of them quite made it to this particular one. And this guy has a lot of rave reviews out there. So the half clone marshmallow, these, I'm really looking forward to this. This is a 5-6 corm. They're definitely big and healthy, big fat guys. We'll see. I'll show you in this video once these are, once they've been soaked for their time, how big they actually get. But these are supposedly, like I said, I've not grown them before, but we're gonna give it a shot. Supposedly they can have, you know, 16, 18-inch stems, huge, like huge fat pink, bubblegum pink flower heads that are just, they look like peonies. So I am really looking forward to seeing how these go, because you don't need a whole lot of these flowers in a bouquet to have an impact. And they just look like, they look like great big garden roses or peonies, but they have, you know, a 10-day to 2-week long base life. They're just amazing. And I'm really, really excited about these ones. So yeah, these are really good, strong, healthy looking corms. I'm gonna pre-sprout all of them today, the 200 of them that I have. And hopefully we'll have a beautiful show in the spring. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna show you the beginning process for getting the ranunculus going. Includes pre-sprouting and, well, soaking and then pre-sprouting. So you wanna soak your corms really to give them a leg up. If you are just planting them out in the garden, you don't actually have to do the pre-sprouting process, but in order to get them soaked, in order to get them earlier and make sure that you have good, viable, strong corms going, you want to soak them and pre-sprout them. So I have a couple buckets over here, I'll show you. And I just put these guys into mesh bags, much like this one, and put a label in there, make sure that I don't get them mistaken. And then I put them into the water for 2 to 4 hours, somewhere in that range. I do like to put a bubbler in there just to make sure that nothing rots. However, it's not necessary if you're gonna check on them every so often and stir the water and make sure that nothing gets settled or nothing weird happens. Okay, let me get these sort of separated so that I can get them into the water and get this process going. I can't wait. Purple jean. these look. So excited. And this one goes in here. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this step. I'm gonna let those soak for probably 4 hours. I'll show you what they look like after, the difference between pre-soaking and after they've soaked up and plumped up. I will set myself a timer to come back in here every half an hour, to give them a zhuzh to make sure nothing weird is happening. One thing I want to know, if you're gonna do it in bags like I do, you want to make sure there's enough room inside those bags for them to actually expand, because they will. If you do it in too tight of a bundle, they'll just get mush and they'll break and they won't be able to do what they need to do. You can always do them in separate containers. That way you don't have to use the bag and it can just do its thing. This time I decided to just bag it up like I normally do. Maybe next year I'll do them just in separate buckets. That might be even easier. But either way, I'm gonna get through this part. I'm gonna go tackle some other things, and then I'll see you back in a minute so I can show you what they look like and we can get them in the trays and start that real pre-sprouting process. Okay, see you soon. Already see how much they've grown. So all the rest of these corms that we're saving for the spring, I'm just gonna put them back in the box and store them in my garage. It stays relatively cool, it won't freeze, it'll be a good safe storage spot that won't have huge fluctuations in temperature. Okay, I'm gonna get the trays ready. I can usually fit about 100 corms in each tray. So I'm gonna try and put together 10 trays. I might do 11. I'll definitely have some extra soil ready. So the way I do it is I put about, ½ inch to 1 inch of soil in the bottom of a tray, one of these normal 10-20 trays. And then I can line up about 100 corms, and then I cover them again with another ½ inch, give or take inch of soil. So that's next on the agenda. I want my soil to be the same as I would when I'm sowing seeds. Basically, you want it to be damp but not dripping wet. So hold a shape when you squeeze it, but not actually lose any water. So this looks pretty good. My trays are falling apart. Time to pull them. So cool. So first things first, I want to show you the difference between before we soaked them and after. So this is one from before, and this is the same variety after. You see the difference, how much bigger it got? So cool. All right, so now I'm just gonna start lining them up. One thing I do want to tell you is no matter what, make sure that you label, because once these little octopus looking buggers go in there, there's no telling which varieties they are. So make sure to label. Okay, that's all of the pastels. There's probably a little over 300 in there, but good enough. So I'm just gonna do the exact same thing with the rest of all of these, the other 700 of them. I'm just gonna go get that part done and then I'll show you in the end. Okay, we got them all laid out. So the last thing I need to do is to cover them all with some soil and then get them into the cooler. Hi, Wednesday. It's gonna take me a few trips. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Man, I'm a total mess. It's warm again today. So I wanted to just touch real quick on why I want to put the ranunculus into the cooler. You want it cold and dark, but the reason that you want it cold and dark is so that they wake up slowly. If you wake them up too fast, it can mess with their growth cycle, and you want to get them into the ground, and then they'll think that it's spring already, and it's just not good. So they need to wake up slowly in the cool, go into the ground when it's cool, and then they can just sit there and grow roots all winter long and then come back and bloom in the spring. All right, so that's it for this video. We did about 1,000 ranunculus pre-sprouted. The upcoming, I still have 500-600 anemone that are coming in soon, which it's basically the same process for anemone. Those, however, are a little more cold hardy, and I think that I can leave those in the ground. I'm gonna try with a bunch this year. I'm gonna try and see if I can just leave them and have them perennialize. So yeah, this is exciting. This is when it gets fun planning for next year. The weather starts to cool off, the garden starts to slow down, and it's time to really get after the fall planning for next spring. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you may have learned something, or you were inspired to get after your ranunculus, get some ordered if you haven't already. If you haven't already, I encourage you to give a thumbs up and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have some other methods for how you pre-sprout, or whether you can or not in your zone. It'd be great to hear from you. And otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.